Hello and welcome to this demonstration on how to use the random nodes that you can now find within the material graph within KeyShot. So you might have it that within your model you've got multiple parts that all share the same material and are all linked together. But you may find that the outcome is a little too uniform and you would like to add in some little uniqueness between each of those parts. Now one option would be to unlink all of those materials and slightly adjust each individual one. However, with the new random nodes, you can let the software do all the calculations to create this random effect for you. Now at the moment I've got two multi-materials within there, so when I open up my material graph I can see both of those options. This is because in this demonstration I'm going to show two methods of using the random nodes. Just so we can focus on the active material at the time, I'm just going to click on this icon at the top of the material graph to disable the view of the material that we are not currently working on. Now at the moment, the tabletop for this picnic bench is all being driven by this walnut material type. But it might be that I want to have multiple materials that drive each individual plank along that tabletop. So what I can do is I can drag and drop all of the textures I want to use into the material graph. If I right click under utilities, I can find the random texture node. Holding down the control key, I can drag this onto the connection line between the texture and the material to make that connection. Now here, if I then start to connect up all those other textures that I'd added into the material graph, we can see in the real-time window how that random texture is distributing those across the different parts. If I double click on that random texture node, here I can see there is a single parameter, which is the seed value. And if I scroll along, I can see how those planks of wood change depending on what the seed value is. So here I can keep going until I find a look that I am happy with and works with my scene. Now this method uses different textures that the software is randomizing over the parts, but it might be that you want every single part to be controlled by one single texture, and maybe the uniqueness about them all is either the colouring or the positioning. So with this one, what I will do is I will still add in that random texture node, but what we're going to have different is how the colour of the material is going to change. So to this one, I'm going to add in a colour adjust to begin with, and I'm going to attach that walnut material to the colour adjust as its main colour. Editing the parameters and clicking C on the keyboard will help me see how this is going to be changed depending on what I've set within here. So here you can play around with all these different parameter values until you get kind of either a darker or a lighter look depending on what you're going for. And this is what the software will use to help vary those different planks. So that they're not all the same, because I may want to have multiple different options for this one, I'm also going to add in a random colour node and attach that colour adjust to it. Within here again if I see on the keyboard, we can see how it's changing the colour over the separate planks. And if I want to have further manipulation of this, I can just start to adjust all the parameters that come with the software until I kind of get a look of how I want it to be. With those then in place, I can then attach this random colour into the random texture node as many times as I want to get the variance across each panel. I've also got the option with the Mapping 2D option to manipulate where the positioning is going to be. So if I go into the Mapping 2D, I can see at the moment it's going across each individual part. And if I scroll down under the Advanced heading, you've got the different random movement parts within here. So here again, I can just start to simply adjust where the U value is going to be, so it's changing along the U coordinate system on the surface, as well as independently shifting the V values. This can help add in separate uniqueness between each of those parts, while it all still be driven from that main initial walnut texture. And that is how you can use the random node just to add a little bit more uniqueness to individual parts that all share the same material type. Thank you for listening.